Hi friends, it's Dawn the Recovery Lady here. If this is your first time, my name is Dawn, D-A-W-N, not Dawn or Donna, the Recovery Lady. I'm a behavioral health clinician and I do this channel on life recovery tips because if you're living on this earth, you have had some challenges and we all need recovery from the ups and downs of life and we need hope. And here at the Recovery Lady, we live in the solution. Yay. So if it's your first time, thank you so much for joining. Today, I'm going to talk to you about safe people. There is a wonderful book, and I just want to preface this, and I'll put a link in the video below, that Dr. Cloud, John Cloud, and John Townsend wrote. I believe they are the ones who wrote it, called Safe People in the 90s. And it was phenomenal. I remember opening it up the first time and saying, yikes, I'm not sure I'm a safe person. Because oftentimes, and if you've been with me for a while and watched the other videos, again, 0 to 8 years old becomes our baseline that unless we have an intervention and learn to act differently or to grow or to heal, if things were not positive in that, we do not acquire the healthy skills we need to not only be healthy, but to attract healthy people and have those people in our life. What becomes familiar to us when we're in recovery is healthy behavior because we're learning it. We're having to implement it in a later part of our life. If we were someone who wasn't fortunate enough to have that growing up. So today in talking about safe people, what does that mean really, safe people? I mean, they're not standing there with a hatchet. They must be safe. They're not putting me in a trunk. Sorry, my kids say my Detroit comes out sometimes. A safe person is someone who loves, respects, and treasures you. A safe person is someone that when you speak, they listen. Your needs, your desires matter to them. They put you before themselves, not in a self-martyred way, but they show empathy when you share. They show concern and they listen when you speak your needs. They're honest. They tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable. And that's a hard thing to do. They don't skirt the truth. They don't go around the truth in order to make you feel good or to deliver the message that they want. They're kind. They treat you with love and respect and dignity. Safe people build you up. They don't tear you down. They try to add to your value and add to your worth. Not manipulate you to change your life into what they think is right. A safe person values your independence and who you are as a person and looks at how you can complement each other and grow together while keeping your individuality. If you didn't have the fortune, the blessing of having that and grew up with with unsafe people around you, if you don't know what a safe person looks like, you're going to be with unsafe people. And I've talked in many of my videos about how we go back and marry the same person 3 times, so to speak, the same characteristics, and yet we hate it, but we don't know why we do it. That's because that's the environment we knew that we were comfortable and familiar to grow up in. So what does an unsafe person look like? An unsafe person demands trust. They say, trust me. I'm here. You should trust me. You should trust me. I'm going to tell you right now, anytime somebody demands trust from you, red flag. Trust is earned. If you haven't watched my episode, my recovery tip on trust, I used a marble jar about earning trust. Go back and watch that. Anytime someone says, you should trust me, it should be a red flag. In fact, anytime we start any sentence with you should, you, it's unhealthy communication. And I am going to be doing a communication module in the next month on healthy and unhealthy communication. That's a concern. Demanding trust, that's a sign of an unsafe person. A second sign of an unsafe person is someone who tries to manipulate and control you, even with anger especially, or they don't respect what you're saying and they try to convince you otherwise. An unsafe person, when you're speaking, before you can even get your thought, your feeling, your emotion out, they're formulating the response and they're saying it because they already think that they're right. So they're giving you that response, they're formulating it before you have a chance to finish your thought. And it's a very bulldozing style. They don't treat you with dignity and respect, and their needs are always first. Another very dangerous thing an unsafe person does is they stonewall you. When they're angry, they don't talk to you. That's one of the most abusive things you can do to a human being, is to stonewall them, meaning you walk around, I'm not talking to you, and this person's in your presence, and they're not talking to you. And they act like you're not there. It diminishes who you are as a person. You are a human on this earth, and I don't care where you've been and what you've done. And if you're in recovery, and no, you can't tell me a story that I haven't heard. I've worked in recovery a long time. I work in the psych unit. I've heard all the stories. And God still loves you, and God will still forgive you. And you don't deserve to be treated that way. I see a lot of people get in relationships with unsafe people and stay there because they think they don't deserve better. One of the other most toxic things an unsafe person can do is use what you've confided and shared in with them against you. So that would be like you get a partner and you share your vulnerabilities. Hey, I went through this. I was called. I know someone who a female who told me that her brother called her cow and all these horrible things when they were growing up, and just absolutely disrespected her. And when she really had a lot of pain, and when she got married, right away, the new husband, I think this was like a 6-week marriage, but the new husband started saying, you were just a cow. They called you that. And he started using her insecurities and her trauma against her as a weapon. I'm going to tell you something. That right there is not going to change. There is so much work that person needs to do if they're doing that to you, and it's abusive. You do not have to stay in a relationship with somebody like that. They are shaming you and using your own pain against you. That is one of the most dangerous things. And every time an unsafe person does that, they are trying to deflect their insecurity and how broken they are and put it on you. Don't look at me, let's look at you. Another thing that happens with an unsafe person is you go to talk about something. Hey, there was a concern, there was an issue, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. Let's say it's, who empties the dishwasher after work? And you sit down and try to say, hey, what's the schedule? What does that look like? And that person started saying, and you did this, and you did that, and you didn't wash the car, and you spent too much money, and they're bringing in a plethora of other issues to distract from the one issue. So they're incapable of staying on point. And they'll tell you they're getting help, an unsafe person, but they never go and get help. Oh yeah, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work, and then they never follow up. It's words, 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 no action. And you always hear that old saying, actions speak louder than words. And don't forget, if you're in an abuse cycle, it'll be, I'm sorry, and all the apologies, I'm going to change, and crying, and they seem so sincere, and it's a manipulation. That's why you need 12 months. I'm referring back to other videos that I encourage you to go watch. Another characteristic of an unsafe person is invalidating not just your humanity, but your needs. Hey, I really need this to feel better. I really, I need this. For example, say you grew up in a house and your house was robbed. And so now you were in the house, nothing happened to you, you were a kid, whatever, or even at any point in your life. And now at this point in your life, it's like, I just want a security system. I think we can budget because it's a trigger for me, that robbery. If they aren't hearing that need And they try to just say, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine, and don't hear your voice and don't hear your need and don't acknowledge you, and they diminish it and diminish it. That is an unsafe person. An unsafe person will also try to convince you that your dreams and your desires and your visions for your life aren't worth it. They'll tell you what you should like. Hey, can we go to vacation on, I don't know, snow skiing? Say you love snow skiing. So you grew up snow skiing, you love snow skiing, and now you're in a relationship and they're like, snow skiing? Why would you want to pay money to go to the cold weather? We need to go to Florida where it's hot. That's ridiculous. And you're trying to compromise. Let's alternate. Let's go to Florida, then let's go to, I don't know, where do they ski? I don't even know, Colorado. And let's alternate. And they're saying that's stupid. If someone is telling you your needs, your hopes, your dreams are stupid, that is an unsafe person. An unsafe person tries to deflect and dump all their stuff on you in a manipulative way, discounting who you are and what you need. And guess what? You don't deserve that. Again, I remember in the 90s when I opened the book, the Safe People book, and they had some bullets in the front of Dr. Claude Townsend in the Safe People book of what was safe. And, in my 20s, I was still working out a lot of childhood stuff. And I remember reading a couple of them and saying, oh my gosh, I'm not a safe person. A safe person doesn't gossip. You tell them your secrets, your concerns, again, and they don't go repeat that. There's really no good secrets, but they're good surprises. But you confide in them, and they don't hold that close to their heart, and they violate you. Unfortunately, I've seen this happen in the Christian community. Not so much now, but when I was younger, Bible studies and, oh, pray for Sarah. She has this going on in the house. And it's a form of gossip. Let me just tell you something. An unsafe person isn't showing up, with a hoodie and a mask and, looking like the Boston Strangler. They could be just the most gorgeous person sitting there with all their wealth and all their things and polite, and then they're just slashing you in the back with their words when you walk away. As I'm going over this, are you a safe person? Are you in a friendship or a relationship with somebody that is not a safe person? This is just a light overview of what a safe person looks like. And as we are in life recovery and our value goes up, it is so important that we see what we deserve. And we don't deserve to be torn down and beat over the head and judged and have our value diminished. You deserve to be loved, treasured, and adored, to be heard. As you're getting better, as you're listening to these recovery tips or going to your clergy or your pastor, your counselor, your therapist, your 12-step groups, whatever your tools are, your faith system you're using to get well, your self-esteem, when you start to realize what you've done and allowed in your life isn't God's best for you, your self-worth will go up and you will just not have room or space or desire those unhealthy behaviors. And hey, if you were like I was 30 years ago or whenever that was, and you see a couple characteristics that you were like, ooh, I'm carrying that in from somewhere, I'm not a safe person, that's okay. The fact that you see it and speak it, every time you speak it, it loses power. So you get some support, you get some help. That's your intervention, and you don't carry that on to the next generation. Again, I've told you guys, my life purpose is breaking that dysfunctional family pattern that we pass down to our kids, and this stuff goes abuse, adultery, addiction, all the things, abandonment that goes on in families until somebody steps up and says, not here, not anymore. That was my life purpose. Anyway, thank you for listening today. I'm going to put the link to the Safe People book down there. I know it's older, but it is so solid. It's an easy read. Unless you get stuck on something you need to work on, you deserve to be loved, treasured, and adored. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Dawn, the Recovery Lady. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below, like, share. please leave a comment. I'm so grateful for you. Love you guys. Bye.